Hello, welcome back to the House of Valentina. I'm Valentina, and today we are talking about outdoor trends. I'm so excited about this because the weather is finally warming up for most parts of the world. My brother lives in Alaska, and he was like, and it's snowing here. I know there are some parts of the world where it is not yet warming up, but for most of us, the weather's starting to get warmer, and the first thing we want to do is we want to run outdoors. It's really nice this time of year to get our outdoor spaces ready for lounging and for entertaining, for alfresco dining, and all the fun things we get to do outdoors. I thought it'd be really fun to chat about what is trending as far as outdoor decor, because there's a lot of things that are going on right now with outdoor trends, and it's kind of significant. There's some really big changes going on with outdoor decor, and I think it's really exciting, and it's really got me rethinking the possibilities. And so I think you guys are gonna absolutely love this video. I hope you'll want to hit subscribe and give the video a big thumbs up. Stick around because we're gonna be talking a lot more about how to update your outdoor areas. I'll be giving you lots of sources today in the video and sharing with you where you can find these items. I think that's maybe one of the biggest changes, is that a lot of styles that may have been unattainable, right, from pricing standpoint, are suddenly now available to us, and it's a lot of fun. I think you're gonna love this video. Let's jump in. Okay, so my personal favorite, and I would say that my home itself is not very exotic. Like, I live in a fairly traditional house. However, I really love exoticism. It has become really, really popular for outdoor trends. You're seeing Mayan jungle, Mexican modern, African desert, uncharted beach. I mean, the most exotic place that you can possibly think. Someone right now has probably delivered us some amazing sources for those. You're seeing things that pop up like outdoor furniture, dining sets in places like CB2 and West Elm, Our House, even Restoration Hardware. Lots of places that are really sourcing us with styles that really would be fairly unattainable. I mean, we lived in Africa for 3 years, and a lot of the pieces, we were just there. We took a lot of you on home tours, and then when we got back, we were like, actually, a lot of this stuff you can now buy in the US and in other places around the world. So I think it's really interesting that exoticism is suddenly wildly available and very popular. And I'm probably not going to be able to turn my outdoor area into a Mayan jungle. That might look a little bit out of place in Atlanta. But I can take a lot of those things and use them in the style home that I have. So if you have a very traditional style home, bringing in some pieces from that exotic, with that exotic feeling, can really help you to have something interesting going on in your space. A lot of times people try to just stick to one specific style, and their house just ends up feeling a little bit themed. And so I think you can 100%, if you have a really modern home, you can steal away from this trend and easily be able to use pretty much any of those styles and any of those furnishings pretty easily outside. But if you have a little bit more of a traditional home, you might want to just bring in some of the elements, maybe some of the pottery, some of the terracotta pots, some of the pillows are things that you could also add on to your sofa. You could also, this is the part I get excited about, I really like the alfresco dining aspect of this, and being able to use some of those more exotic dinnerware sets and have things like that for my dining set. So you can 100% get onto this trend no matter what your style is at home. Another big outdoor trend is actually having animals, farm animals. That has become such a big trend. And I know certain places you just cannot have farm animals. There's agricultural rules about where you are, and so for some people they can't have them. I, for one, live in an area where I cannot have farm animals, and to be honest, I'm okay with that, because the idea of having goats and having to milk them and make my own products does kind of scare me. But thankfully, our video sponsor for today is one that has mastered the goat's milk, and that is Beekman 1802. After 15 years of research and hundreds of clinical tests and millions of products sold, Beekman 1802 has unlocked the science behind goat's milk's effect on the skin and turned it into clinically kind skincare. It is incredible because it reduces redness, dryness, breakouts, wrinkles. It helps your skin to be more balanced and hydrated, clear and radiant, and smooth and firm. And the best part for me is I have extremely sensitive skin, and these products are incredible. They're goat milk soap. It smells so good. It has ylang ylang and tuberose, and it's enriched with shea butter. And every time I use it, my skin is just so soft and it's moisturized and it feels so nourished and refreshed. They've got so many beautiful fragrances to choose from. You could choose the Sunshine Lemon, the Lavender, the Vanilla Absolute, Honey and Oats, and so many more. The beautiful packaging that each one of these comes with, it makes it perfect to give as a gift to yourself and to others. They've also sent me the Midnight Milk. This is an anti-aging face mask that you can sleep in. You just simply take it, you apply it to your face after you've done your evening routine. Leaves your skin feeling absolutely incredible. 98% of people who have tried this found it effective. The other product that they have sent me is the Bloom Cream. It actually has a little bit of a flower on it, and you literally just press it and it is absolutely amazing. Bloom Cream is Beekman 1802's best-selling daily moisturizer that's certified microbiome friendly and is clinically proven to restore healthy, youthful radiance, and I absolutely love it. The products also come in the most beautiful packaging, so I really think that these are absolutely amazing treats. It feels like it's an ultimate luxury, and these are also products that are going to help your skin, which I think ultimately helps you to feel better. I also think that now's a good time to gift these items because we're so close to Mother's Day. Click on my link in my description and use my code Valentina20 to get 20% off of your order at beekman1802.com. I know that you guys are gonna absolutely love these products, so I will leave all the details down below in the show notes for you. Another key component of outdoor trends is tranquility. That is really important. So I think that we have seen a lot of really bright pops of color, lots of pattern, lots of visual noise, lots of stuff going on. And now we're seeing a huge push back on that and very much a feeling of tranquility. And that goes across any style that you might have. So you can have the most traditional style, and maybe that might mean more of like a Charleston garden style with a beautiful water feature, pretty traditional water fountain, maybe brick pavers and some classic furniture in neutral colors. That will lead to a very tranquil feeling, but you could also take that modern style and create a very modern, tranquil, neutral, minimal modern style. It's very interesting to me because I think this comes from the fact that we just all went through like a really stressful time period, and on the flip side of that, we're still like, I'm starting to feel better about life, but you know, a little tranquility now and then would not hurt. So I think that the internet is a great place. It does mean that we have access to a lot of stuff, but it also keeps us busy. It also keeps us busy, and sometimes life can just be busy and chaotic. And so I think we're all just craving some tranquility. And so I think you can very easily infuse tranquility in through adding a water feature of some sort. Places like Pottery Barn actually sell really nice water features that you can buy and have them shipped right to your door. I know for me, I love having that going in our backyard, and it really is very tranquil. I think that the color palette that you use, actually that's leading us right into the next one. We'll come back to that in just a second, but I do think the color palette does also affect the way that you feel. I also think just paring things back can lend to a feeling of tranquility and not having, I know I'm bringing up that video that I talked about, take down the signs. I know, I felt so bad because some of you were like, going to take down my sign. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. If it's not adding to your tranquility, I would suggest not having a lot of things on the walls and thinking about a more calm environment, less pots, less plants, and just sort of calming the space down and having less clutter. Those should all help you to have a lot more tranquility in your outdoor spaces. Let's talk about the warm neutral thing, because I do think that the color palette, that you're seeing that across the board on all styles, that a neutral color palette is really in. Now, sometimes you'll still see a lot of people that are doing lots of bright blue and turquoise, and if that's what you love, that's what you should have, because ultimately these are just things that are trending and it's your home, so make it what you want it to be. but I do think that you are seeing a lot of really warm neutrals. They're spilling out from the inside to the outside. And that's for me how I wanted to paint the outside of my house, because it felt more in tune to the inside of my home. It helped me to bring the warm neutrals from in here out there. So a lot of people are doing their homes in warm neutrals and the decor in warm neutrals. So if you want to shop somewhere that's a little bit more traditional, somewhere like Pottery Barn is a great place to go. You can also check out my Amazon. I source a lot there for outdoor styles and different style furnishings for the outdoor areas. But you could also check out places like West Elm, CB2, Crate and Barrel. They've got a lot of really great sources. They have a lot of really great pieces for outdoor living in neutrals. I think our house is another really good one too. Those all have great pieces if you want to have a sofa in a warm neutral, if you want to maybe do a concrete table, if you want to have a chair with maybe a neutral cushion. Lots of options. All those sources are really great. I'll leave some of my favorites down below in the show notes for you. Rough antiquity. Let's call it that. I think that there's just been, it kind of is exotic, but it doesn't have to be. I'm seeing that a lot more people are just wanting a lot more warmth and texture in their space. It kind of goes along the lines of this sort of rustic luxury that we've been doing indoors. How does that spill outdoors? Well, I think that sort of rough texture is something that a lot of people are really looking for, and they're trying to figure out how to do it in their outdoor space. So you might not want rough furniture to sit down on, but you could have a concrete table, maybe a dining table or an accent table outside. I do think that the planters, that's an easy way of being able to add texture into your outdoor spaces. And I do think fountains, I know we said we avoid a lot of statuary, but like I have the spheres outside, and that's more of a sculpture rather than, you know, like a bust of like a troll. These are all easy ways to be able to add a little bit of that sort of rustic, rough texture in a very chic and sophisticated way into your outdoor spaces. So I think it's a fun one, and I feel like it kind of blends all of these styles together. It's a little bit exotic, it's a little bit neutral, you know, just put all of them together and you end up with something that just feels really cozy and really approachable. I've seen a really big push towards handcrafted stone. So many of us were moving towards like fiber, clay, plastic, basically type of planters and things like that. And I've been seeing a lot where a lot of companies are really kind of pushing back and saying, let's give you some materials. Like I have travertine tables sitting outside, and they've been out in the rain and all the elements, and they are pristine. And so you can use a lot of these natural stones outdoors, and they just really hold up to the elements. And so a lot of these companies are coming out with some really great items. I like it because you can get a lot of really nice texture into your outdoor spaces. I think you can get a lot of pattern into your space as well, whether it's through a coffee table or a side table. Again, the dining table, you could have a console table. You can also add in some warm wood. That is another key component. I know a lot of this depends on where you live and the elements from the areas that you're living in, right? All those things have to be considered. But especially if you have a covered area, you have a lot more options. But I do think that look at the natural stone that's out there. You could also have some gorgeous planters that are made out of some of these really beautiful natural materials. And I think that overall, it's going back to this idea of being able to mix in a very luxurious feeling. And then also, of course, so many of us are trying to stick to a budget. And so a lot of these items are now available in mainstream stores. And so it's actually kind of fun. Like we can get our hands on stuff that we really just couldn't have before. And so yeah, I would definitely check out the links below and see if you find something that you might want for your outdoor space as well. I think a huge trend in outdoor spaces is actually gathering spaces. That has become really, really big. I think that the pandemic and the lasting effects of it is that we now realize that our home is our haven, and our outdoor spaces are an extension of the inside. It's just extra space that we can use. And so a lot of people are starting to really focus in on creating just amazing gathering spaces outdoors. So that for you might mean putting out a fire pit. Now you can do everything from installing one to even having a tabletop one, right? It just depends on what kind of space you have. Don't let your space limit you. Come up with a way in which you can gather in your outdoor space, whether it's on a sofa, having that fire pit area, maybe a few chairs that are kind of gathered around. You could also have a beautiful dining set that you're able to dine at and really enjoy. But either way, I think gathering people together in your outdoor spaces is something that's just going to be around for a really long time. Pools have been crazy in as well, and it's just another meeting point. Now, if you're not ready for a pool, you could have a pond, you could have just an area that you lounge in, right? You can have a garden, build a beautiful garden and have some chairs in it. There's so many different ways in which you can gather yourself and others, sit in solitude, or gather all of your friends together. Maybe even have diversity, right, in the way in which you put your outdoor space together. But either way, having spaces to gather in, I think, is really important. I don't think that trend is going to change anytime soon. Another really interesting outdoor trend is to mix materials. So we've kind of been alluding to that quite a bit throughout this, but I do want to give it a big shout out because I think that mixing materials is something that a lot of times people don't know that they can do. They're not even sure if they should. So I think mixing materials is what really will give you a very interesting outdoor space. So rather than running to Costco or to, Walmart or wherever you're gonna go buy a patio set, instead of buying everything to match perfectly, the dining set matches the sofa and the two chairs and the table and everything comes in a matching set. Think about how you might be able to mix some materials in your outdoor space to really give it just some interest. I think that's what makes it so nice, is when you mix styles and you mix materials, you really can create something that's really just compelling. And it just kind of draws you in, and it's something to look at. There's something going on. So you can mix traditional pieces with something that's really contemporary. You can mix something that's contemporary with something that's a little bit more modern. You can mix something that's really sleek with something that's really rustic. You can have clean lines on maybe on your lounge set, and then maybe something with a little bit more embellishment on your dining set. You can have a fountain that's more traditional with modern furniture. You really can mix these things in all different ways. And I would say that you probably want to have about 75% of one style to 25% of another. You don't want it to be a free-for-all either. And I would say that if you have wildly eclectic taste, I understand, I do too. You might want to think about how color palette can actually pull a lot of those styles together and make things that don't seem like they should go together kind of fit really well together. Color palette is huge. Either way, I do think that the color palette is something you should consider before you get started on any of these. Think about the styles that really jump out at you out of all the things that we've been talking about, and think about the style of home that you have. So for me, I like to mix in some traditional pieces into every room of my house, because the house itself, the architecture of it, is quite traditional. And so it just feels like it's in its place, if that makes any sense, rather than I had a house that I didn't like, so I put this other style inside of it. Do you know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't look like it goes together, and you're kind of stuck with the house you didn't like, and therefore you put furnishings in that don't go with it at all. It has just a little bit of that feeling like it just doesn't go. But I think that if you blend at least 50%, maybe even 75% of one style, and make sure at least one of the two styles is the style of your home as well, then you can really start to mix your styles, and then of course mix your materials and use that color palette, and I think that you can have a lot of fun. There you go. Those are just a few outdoor trends that I've noticed that got me excited about designing my space, and maybe just adding a few little things in, maybe changing a couple things up for the season. I think it's a lot of fun to be able to do this, and I hope that you've enjoyed it. I hope you subscribe and give the video a thumbs up, and let me know down in the comments which one of these things is your favorite. Also, don't forget to look down in the show notes for all the links for the items that you've seen throughout the video, and make sure you check out that Beekman 1802 offer. That is such a big savings, and especially with Mother's Day coming up, I think this is such a good time to treat yourself and to treat the ladies in your life. So I will leave all that linked down below, and that is all the time we have for today. So I will see you guys in the next one. Until then, cheers. Bye.